Hey, welcome back. Thanks for stopping by. So the Postal Service is finally trying to replace those old mail trucks that we've seen driving around for so long, but they're being sued. We're going to talk about that and also the used car market. But first, if you haven't already done so, please subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell, and like this video. It helps. And also share it with your friends if you can. Anyway, let's get started. As you have seen driving around for years, the mail trucks that the post office uses have been around for over 30 years. They were built by the Grumman Corporation. That's called the Grumman LLV, which stands for Long Life Vehicle. And they were made from 1987 to 1994. And those are the same trucks that have been driving around since then. Finally, the federal government is looking to replace those. And by the way, if you've been around even longer, you remember before those mail trucks, there were the mail Jeeps. They were called the Jeep DJ, which stands for Dispatcher Jeep. And they were around from 1955 until 1984. And then in 1987, they started building the replacement mail trucks, which we've seen for so long. The U.S. Postal Service is finally looking to replace those. They've actually signed a contract for the new mail truck, the new mail delivery truck. It's a little bigger, and that will, you see how big the Amazon trucks are and the FedEx trucks. These aren't quite that big, but at least they're a little bigger, especially given the what the mail service now delivers. In addition to mail, they are delivering for Amazon, and they've got their own, Postal Service packages they're delivering. So it is a little bit bigger of a truck. But in any event, they're made by Oshkosh. They're going to be made by Oshkosh in Wisconsin. But the Postal Service is now being sued by 16 state attorney generals, mainly they're blue states. They're suing, as well as two large climate organizations and the United Auto Workers. Why are they being sued? Well, for the most part, it's because the Wisconsin contractor Oshkosh failed to do a climate-based analysis of the decision. And they're also suing because they want these trucks to be electric. So they want to tell the post office what's best for them instead of letting the Postal Service decide. Now, the new trucks are mainly internal combustion engines, but there's a percentage that are electric. And the Postal Service has determined what mix of electric and internal combustion engine is best. But again, these climate organizations want, funny, the mail truck is just driving by and is about to deliver my mail. Anyway, these organizations want to tell the federal government and the taxpayers that no, you can't use internal combustion engines any longer. You have to use electrics. This has wide-ranging ramifications as these groups and those within the federal government want to move towards electric vehicles almost exclusively. As we've discussed, the automobile manufacturers are moving in that direction rapidly without even basically taking the temperature of the consumer, the American consumer, as far as what they want. So I think there are going to be big problems in that regard. Now, the United Auto Workers are also suing, but they're suing for kind of a different reason. They're getting on board with the suit. But mainly, Oshkosh announced that they would build the new mail trucks in South Carolina rather than in a union state. And the United Auto Workers are upset about that. They want union workers, which unfortunately for the United States consumer and the taxpayer, those trucks would be more expensive if they're made in a union state. And by the way, in South Carolina, the workers in those manufacturing plants, they have the option to vote to be unionized, but they've chosen not to. So in any event, the United Auto Workers has joined the suit to try to stop Oshkosh from producing these trucks without further analysis, and in their case, analysis to make them be manufactured in a union state. Now, another consequence, if these lawsuits are successful, is the fact that these climate activists, environmental activists, will next try to sue the American public, car companies, to force them to make more electric cars, or to force them to make electric cars exclusively, saying that internal combustion engines are bad for the environment, bad for the climate, and so forth. Now, they're already moving in that direction. They're already putting so many regulations government regulations on the auto industry that that's one of the reasons they're rapidly moving towards electrics. And they also, as I mentioned, think that the demand is there, that the public is just clamoring for electric vehicles. It's not the case. Internal combustion engines, as I have also mentioned in the past, are so clean compared to what they used to be. They're very, very clean, very efficient. And again, if these climate activists are successful in their lawsuits, then it will affect the general public buying their regular commuting cars and internal combustion vehicles. So that's what's going on. Hopefully soon we'll have the new postal vehicles driving around instead of the ones that have been driving around for 30 years. And that's what's in the news regarding the Postal Service. The next thing I wanted to discuss, and this may affect many of you, is used cars. If you have a used car, it may be worth more than you think it's worth, especially if you're considering selling it. As you probably have heard, as you probably all know, there's been a supply chain shortage, which has greatly affected the auto industry. And new cars are much harder to get. Inventory levels of new cars on car dealers' lots are greatly reduced from what they have been in the past. I mean, they're a small percentage. And that, therefore, used cars are a lot more expensive. And getting good quality used cars is harder and harder. And the price of those have gone up tremendously, tremendously. So in the past, if you had an older used car, something that was older and high mileage, and you wanted to buy a new car, yeah, the new car dealers would buy it from you. But they would basically just give you wholesale price. They wouldn't sell it themselves on their lots. They would then wholesale it out to your neighborhood used car lot. And that's basically what the options were for you. But now, because there's such a shortage of new cars and therefore good used cars, new car dealers are now looking at older, higher mileage cars. So because of that, your neighborhood car dealer, your neighborhood car lot, used car lot that is now competing with new car dealers for those older, higher mileage cars. So therefore, if you have something like that, don't sell yourself short. If you want to sell it, you can get some pretty good money for that. And there are the online dealers. There's Carvana. There's CarMax. Check those out. Edmunds.com will give you a price. They'll assess your car and show you where you can sell it. And you can also go buy your new car dealers and ask them what they'd give you for your car. So there's kind of a bidding war. If you have an older used car or a new used car, you can get a lot more than you may have thought. So that's about it for today. Thanks again for joining. Again, if you haven't already done so, I want to remind you to subscribe to my channel and like this video and hit the notification bell. It does help. So thanks again for joining. We'll see you next time.